Hello. Hello.
Um, Hello, Narsiman sir. Chetna ma'am.
Yeah, it's Gauri.
Yeah.
Madam, Chaitanya madam, your voice is breaking.
Hi, Chetna here. Yeah, 1 minute. Can you give me the meeting ID and password? Because I logged in from mobile. I want to log in from the laptop. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. Good
Hello, am I
afternoon.
audible? Good
Yeah, yeah.
afternoon. How are you?
Fine, fine. How are you?
All well.
Good, good.
Yeah, what I was saying is that I thought of logging in from my laptop so
Yeah.
that I can see everybody. So now I've
You can do it.
logged in from
Few
my
minutes ago.
mobile.
Yeah, I have sent you the mail also. You can log in from your laptop also.
Okay, I'll just check. Hello, good afternoon. Chetna ma'am, Narasimhan sir, and to our students, ma'am,
Good
we are
afternoon.
expecting some more students.
No
So
problem.
we just wait for 5 minutes and then we can start.
Sure, sure.
Sure. Sure. Welcome, everyone. Hello, I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, continue.
Thank you, sir. So, group discussion is an important tool in the selection process for freshers. So, each group discussion contains 6 to 10 candidates. Each group is given a topic for discussion. The time limit for each topic is 15 minutes. Each participant has to give his or her views about the topic in discussion. The mentors observe the full discussion. After the time limit is over, feedbacks are given to improve. Rare Minds and Industry Academia interface platform that offers twin solutions to empower students, bring out their potential, and in parallel partner with corporates for talent acquisition. Rare Minds during COVID 19 has created the platform Gold, that is group online discussion. Gold is the platform made available to students every day from 3 to 5 to practice group discussion skills for free. Our CEO and founder, Dr. Subhashni Ramaswamy, has over 2 decades of experience in CXO and advisory roles. Sorry. A doctorate in education and focus as a leader is on collaborating with other leaders to empower and build learning city. Gold is one such platform made for students an opportunity to empower. We have mentors with us on board. And today we have Miss Chetna Tilak. She is a management graduate from Pune University. She is having 15 years of corporate experience and last 8 years have been successfully running recruitment business based out of Bangalore. She's worked with Tata Infomedia, ABC Consultants, Naukri.com, and Manpower Services. We welcome you, ma'am.
Hello, thank you.
Ma'am, would you like to say a few words?
Yes. So I'm just transitioning from my mobile to laptop. So I am waiting at the door for entry from the laptop connection because my mobile has a little slow connection.
Okay, ma'am. Right. So we welcome ma'am. Some of the skills you learn are managing stress, improving communication, presentation, public speaking. It's opportunity to show your leadership skills, showcase your natural interest, to take initiative, bring groups together. Happy participation and happy learning. Good luck to everyone here. So now we start our group discussion session. So once again, to all the students here, please note that the time allotted for each group discussion topic is 15 minutes. And all the students are requested to participate and turn on their videos for better evaluation. Right. So we start with the first topic for the today's session, that is coronavirus impact on global economy. Coronavirus impact on global economy. So we have the topic and the pointers for reference for the students posted in the chat. And your time starts now. You can unmute yourself and start the discussion. Students, so your time has already started. You can unmute yourself and you can start the discussion.
Yeah, good afternoon, one and all. Myself, Vishnu Reddy.
Yes, Vishnu, you can start.
Yeah, actually, as per the point that you have quoted, the stock price of pharma companies is constantly rising. So it is really impacting on the global economy. I mean to say that the global economy is even falling down. The pharmaceutical industry has been being a backbone for not declining the global economy entirely. Why? Because even though the global economy is rapidly falling down, the pharmaceutical sales or the uh, growth has been continuously seen in today's, I mean, in the current scenario. Why? Because as the COVID-19 is totally dependent upon the medicine itself, so the more number of the pharmaceutical industries are coming into existence in order to prepare the new drugs, as well as which are in support or in treating the COVID disease. And as well as the tourism industry has also been hit very hardly. Why? Because as the transportation from one state to another state or going abroad has been totally banned as the COVID has been into existence. So even the global economy has been hit due to the lack of transportation between two countries or between the interstate traveling, and the many tourists are not being influenced in visiting any of the tourist places in India. So in whole and whole, the global economy has been affected in many scenarios.
Right. Thank you, Vishnu. You can continue. I request all the students to introduce themselves, your name and from which college you've come before you start the discussion. Vishnu, you can continue, and others can also add to the points. Uh, Chetna ma'am, you're on mute.
Okay. So I request everybody to put on their videos so that we can also have a face-to-face discussion. The whole aspect of having a Zoom call is you're able to also analyze your body language. Hello, am I audible? Are people listening?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else wants to add? Arvind, you want to talk?
Sukruti, Navyashri, Abdul Khadir, you can add your points as well.
Adding to the discussion, the third point, the world dependence in China for manufacturing will reduce. Of course, the world dependence for the any of the goods which are manufactured in China will be reduced. Why? Because the exports or the imports have been totally banned with respect to the situation of COVID, and even the India has been following the strict rules or the regulations that the products or the goods that are not supposed to be exported from China, and they are building their own industries or the manufacturing units in order to produce the goods and products. And many of the people are believing that the COVID has been came into existence due to the China. So many of the countries are opposing that the China to ban them in order to export the goods and products into their own countries. So
Yes,
it
very
even
well
may,
put, Vishnu.
yeah, it may even affect the China's economy also. So which in turn the China may had been suffering due to the impact on global economy, as well as their own China economy.
Yes, you're right. Vishnu, can you on your video? We'd
No,
like
ma'am.
to see you.
Actually, yeah, sure, ma'am.
Yes. I request all of the other participants also to put on your videos. Abdul, Smriti, Navya, Ekta. Who wants to talk next? Yes, Abdul.
Ma'am, before we move on, Vishnu, can you please introduce your college name and where you're from? And I request the other students also to introduce their names and the college names.
Yeah, actually, my name is Vishnu Reddy. I am from Global Business School, Hubli.
Thank you, Vishnu. Abdul, you wanted to add a few points?
Yes, madam. Good afternoon. Am I visible?
Yes.
Abdul, we can hear you and we can see you.
Yes, madam. 1 minute, madam. With respect to the world's dependence in China for manufacturing, madam, will reduce. But I think it is for temporary basis because China is the manufacturing hub for the country. If they will not buy from China, then from which country they will buy, madam? Manufacturing.
So what is your opinion?
I think that ban from China manufacturing, we will not buy. That's all is for temporary, madam. For long term, we have to depend on China, not only with respect to India, but I think other countries should also depend upon China.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody who feels that you want to counter attack Abdul's viewpoints? Is there anybody who wants to talk?
Yeah, it doesn't mean that we are not so dependent on China, or we are not so dependent on China in future. It may depend upon the situation that we are facing. Why? Because if the COVID situation or this pandemic continues, then we will be going for the manufacturing of the goods and products within our countries rather than exporting it from other countries. Why? Because as a global economy or the Indian economy is going falling rapidly, if we go for an exports, then it might lead to an excessive global economy fall. Why? Because we need to sustain with our global economy. In order to sustain with our global economy, we need to produce our goods and products instead of getting exported the products from any of the other countries.
Yes, good point, Vishnu. Is there anybody else who wants to talk?
Madam, I think for manufacturing, India is known for its service sector, madam. Okay. And madam, China is known for manufacturing, madam. If India want to become a manufacturing, then it is not possible in short term, madam. We have to depend upon long term only. Because, madam, many companies, US companies, have also invested in China, madam. It is not possible to bring diversify investment into India or any other country in short term, madam. And this corona cases and all, I think it will go within year or within 1 year or 2 year, it will vanish, madam. Corona. I don't think so. For temporary basis, they will make the huge expenditure and diversify the all manufacturing, madam. I am not telling it is not possible, madam, but I am telling in short term, it in 1 2 years, it is not possible, madam. We require many years, like 10 years we need, madam. And madam, madam, China's dumping strategy, madam. If we produce here, madam, then China will certainly will try to sell it for cheap price, madam. And you know the mentality of Indians, they will go where there is low price, madam.
Okay.
What Chinese do, madam, they will understand the technique, madam, how to produce, and they will produce in a bulk quantity, madam, so that they can sell it in a low price, madam.
Okay, got it. I would request others also to speak who have participated for the discussion. Smriti, Navya, Manav.
Ma'am, the students are Abdul, Vishnu, Navyashri, Manav, and Shruti.
Okay.
And for those who joined a little late, have the topic and the pointers in the chat. You can refer and you can add your points to the discussion.
Madam, the entertainment industry means filmmaking industry, madam.
Yeah, Abdul and Vishnu, since you have made your point, let us wait for others to see. Navya, Manav, Shruti, can you put on your videos?
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, this is Shruti.
Yes, Shruti.
Yeah, I actually don't want to turn on my video right now, but I would like to add a few points to the topic.
Yes, Shruti. Tell me.
So I do not agree with Abdul telling that we will be dependent on China even in the future, because when everyone's been encouraging.
Which college you are from, Shruti?
Ma'am, I'm from JSS, ma'am, Bangalore.
From Bangalore? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. What was I saying? Yeah, I don't think we'll be dependent on China even in the future, because technology is definitely developing all around the world, including in India. And I think we're learning the skills that are required to become independent in the future. We can see and learn from China, and maybe rectify our mistakes, uh, and increase our energy, and concentrate our energy where we're lagging. But I definitely don't think we will always be dependent on China.
Okay. What is your opinion? How long will it take? And what is your opinion about the travel and tourism industry?
Okay, it will definitely take a lot of time. It won't happen overnight, but I think at least maybe we are progressing. We're definitely progressing. We are getting there day by day. But I think in like 10 to 15 years, maybe we will be uh, independent enough. Maybe not completely independent, but independent enough to tell that we're not completely dependent on someone else. So yeah, that is
Okay.
that thing.
That's a good rebuttal. Is there anybody else who wants to talk? Sukruti, you want to talk? Sukruti, can you hear us? Sukruti, are you there?
Ma'am, she's
So I
there,
think
but maybe she's having some technical issues. Sukruti, yeah, maybe she's having some
it's
technical
not
issues.
that.
So Vishnu and Abdul, if you want to add something, you have another 30 seconds left.
Yeah, adding to the point, the global economy is really affecting with the pandemic. So, in order to sustain the global economy or our country economy, we need to stick on to the products which has been imported in the product which has been manufactured in India itself, and the sale of products which are manufactured in India may lead to stable economy. So if we, as I said earlier, if we go on importing from the other countries, we need to pay the taxes and the other, I mean the taxes and the GSTs also. So we need export tax as well. So we might be losing some of the economy in order to pay the taxes also. So if we stick on to the domestic products or the goods, then we can maintain the sustainable economy.
Right. So, ma'am, our 15 minutes are up. So thank you to all the students here who participated, and request you all to keep the discussion within the 15 minutes itself. And like ma'am said, please turn on your videos so that we can evaluate your body language as well and give you suggestions and tips on that also. Ma'am, can you please throw some light and give us a feedback on the previous experience here so that the students can pick it up?
Yeah, so I like how Vishnu's initiative. See, in any group discussion, when you're given a chance to talk, and if there are many participants, the person who takes the initiative and starts talking, he takes away maximum points. So those are your, there's a saying, the first impression is a long lasting impression. So you have to run to take that opportunity. And if somebody is keeping a open door to talk, you should take the initiative to talk. So Vishnu scores there compared to others, since he took the initiative and he started talking. Vishnu, you have to mind the use of why because. In every sentence, you are using why because. So if you can practice talking in front of the mirror without using this word. So these words are called as crutch words. That means you're trying to make a sentence by using this word called why because. So try talking a single sentence without using a word and start practicing. And that is possible by talking in front of a mirror. So you take a topic and you talk and try avoiding these two words. And one more thing, what I noticed, you said that we would lose the economy. So we don't lose economy, we lose money in the economy. So what words you use while talking, you have to be aware of those. Okay. Coming to Abdul, I find that you have taken long pauses while talking. So when you talk, you make a sentence, you complete, and immediately start another sentence. So don't take a long pause. So people will think that you have completed your discussion. Somebody else will just take over from you. See, now we don't have many participants, so they are letting you talk. But had we had the case, suppose there are 10 people or 15 people talking, they will not let you talk if you have long pauses in a discussion. You get me there? Do you
Yes,
understand?
madam.
Yeah.
Yes, madam.
Second thing is, you're waiting for somebody to probe you and say, okay, what next? What next? So you have got an opportunity to talk to for 4 or 5 minutes. So you make up your point. So there are already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leading points which have been given to you for discussion on the topic. So use each and every point. So even if you're going to talk on each pointer for a minute, you can talk for 5 minutes. So you don't have to look around or look outside for topics to talk. Each of these lines can be used to talk. And try to explain, or uh, you put up your point based on what the pointers are given. It is like, when a composition is given to you and pointers are given, you try to use those pointers and then you make sentences, you join them and you make the whole composition, right? So similarly, when a pointer is given, continue, don't take long pauses. And
Yes,
coming to
madam.
Shruti, yeah. So Shruti, what I feel is that today we are probing, we are asking you to talk, and then you open up. But in a group discussion, an open group discussion, nobody is going to ask you to talk. You have to grab the opportunity to talk so that you get points. Because in a group discussion, what the panel will be judging, who is taking the initiative to talk, who is making more points. Did not agree to Abdul's point, and then you rebutted to make your own point, and then you spoke about it. But you only spoke about that one point and you stopped. So I had to probe, and I had to kind of give you more push to then talk about another topic, say travel, tourism, or entertainment, and then you spoke. So don't wait for somebody to give you that cushion and then you speak. If somebody is giving you an opportunity, grab that opportunity, talk for 2 or 3 minutes, how much you can, and then let others speak. So this is
Okay,
what
for
my observations have been, ma'am. So will we start? Should we start another topic?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the feedback, and I hope Shruti and Sukriti will be more into the participation will be more this time. Also,
Do we
Abdul,
have Sukruti first of all? I mean, I
she
need to
is
hear
there,
her.
ma'am. Sukriti, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Last discussion, I had some connection issues. Yeah, now I can
Right.
hear.
All right, Sukriti. Thank you. Abdul, can we please know your college name and if you can let us know your college name, please?
Probably.
Right. Thank you. Ma'am, our next topic is cashless economy in India. Ready for it? Cashless economy, is India ready for it? We have the pointers and the topic for you in the chat for reference, and your time starts now. So once again, request everybody to have the discussion within the 15 minutes, and you can start the discussion now.
Ma'am, I don't think so, madam. In rural people, madam, are ready for cashless economy because they first of all they don't know rural village, madam. They don't know how to use smartphone, madam. If they don't know how to use smartphone, then how they will use cashless economy, madam? But I think in city areas, madam, it is possible, madam. In town and cities areas, it is possible.
Okay.
Ma'am, I do not
What else?
agree with. Okay, yeah, can I talk?
Yes.
Yeah, I do not agree with Abdul in this case as well, because I think now technology is expanding and people are getting adapted to technology very, very fast. Now, even if we see a street vendor, even if we see someone selling on cards, even they're using Paytm, GPay, or every option they have, they're using it and they are grabbing the opportunity. And I think it is helping them a lot in doing that way. And talking about rural areas, I think rural people are more adaptive than urban people in this in all aspects actually. And I think any change that comes, rural people are always ready to grab the opportunity to learn more. And I don't think that no one has access to tech. I mean, there are obviously people without access to technology, but I think majority of the people do have smartphones now. And the government should take steps to teach it to everyone, maybe to educate the illiterates as well in this manner. They don't really have to know. They don't have to be literate to use cashless transactions, and I think it will help them even if they're customers uh, or if they have a shop of themselves. Anything in that manner, I think cashless transactions will help them. And if government takes necessary steps to educate everyone, I think they will definitely learn and they will be enthusiastic to learn something new, and it will help everyone. And I think India is ready for it. It is getting there day by day again, and I think it will get there very soon.
Adding to
Okay.
point, ma'am, I completely will not accept that the India is ready for the cashless economy. Why? Because there are some illiterates who don't even know the alphabets from A to Z also. So how come they can use the smartphones and how can they go through the cash payment apps? So it is very much concerned towards the illiterates also. Even how much the initiative that the government takes, it won't be happening within days. Why? Because they can't teach the people who are illiterate over tonight or within 2 to 3 days. There will be a certain amount of people who will not be adopting to the cashless economy. And whatever to the extent we use the the awareness programs, it will be not possible to go for an the cashless economy. And even after the demonetization, we can see there is a more cashless economy, as there are many new apps coming into existence, and many of the banks are supporting the cashless transactions by offering new rewards as well as the gifts that they provide. I mean, not to say the banks, the many of the software companies or the apps that they are providing initiative offers and rewards for the people who transact through the apps. So on many of the state governments, I don't feel that the many of the state governments are putting efforts in order to create an awareness there regarding the digital payments or cashless economy.
Madam, I would like to
I would like to
explain
say
my
that
next point with the help of example, madam. In bus, madam, if you travel, will the conductor will accept, madam, cashless transaction? I will make you Paytm, phone pay. Will he accept, madam, or he will go for hard cash only, madam? If the government itself is not completely ready, madam, what we can expect from people, madam? I live in Ankola, madam. It is town area, and I know how it is there, madam. If I go to any shop and I will make him a Paytm, he will do, Paytm. First of all, if people here don't know English only, madam, they go for a Kannada. Well, I was in the high school, madam. I was from, obviously, I am from English medium school, madam. But in there also, madam, few people from government side, Kannada should make compulsory. Kannada should make compulsory, madam. Our school used to teach us English books, and they used to say, don't tell in your houses or anybody that we are teaching you in English because they want in Kannada, madam. Like this, it will happen. We are adherent to our own mother tongue, madam. It is good, madam. It is good, but it is not competitive in other, when we go to abroad or madam. Like this, it is happening, madam. They are not accepting language only, madam. What they will shift to digital, madam. I am not telling they can't, madam, but the government itself has to take more initiative, madam. And as I quoted one example, madam, if we travel in bus, such thing will happen, madam.
Okay.
I agree with him to an extent. India is still a developing country, so we can't
So,
afford to
Preeti,
go
can you
completely
introduce
cashless
yourself?
right
Which
now.
college you are from?
Yeah.
Can you introduce
Hi,
yourself?
this is
Which college
Sukriti.
you are from?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I'm from JSS Engineering College, Bangalore.
Can you put on your video if you don't mind?
I'm sorry. I have some connection issues.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. As I was saying, India is still a developing country. So going completely cashless, we can't afford that right now. India still needs a lot of time to become a cashless economy. When demonetization happened, there was a shift from, cash. There was a shift towards cashless economy due to the scarcity of notes. But as some of my friends said, due to digital illiteracy, going completely cashless right now is a difficulty. Maybe a few years from now we can try, like the government can educate the digitally illiterate people, but right now India still uses cash, and becoming cashless is difficult.
Ma'am, I would like to say that it definitely won't happen overnight, but I'm telling that India is getting there. Day by day, we are definitely getting there. For example, when Ola and Uber was introduced, many auto drivers, it became a matter of survival for them to connect themselves to Ola and Uber. And I myself have taught a lot of drivers how to use the app, and they don't necessarily have to know English for it. The app is available in Kannada as well. They can change it to their regional languages. So I don't think literacy is very much important. It is definitely important to understand, but I think when it becomes a matter of survival, everyone will adapt.
Okay. Anybody else wants to add?
Madam, I think if the government wants to go cashless, madam, if they want to encourage all the people, madam, you know the psychology of people. Some people will say, I am happy at this level only. I don't want to scale up to go to digital, madam. For them, what I can say is just piece of advice, madam, that we should try to ban, I don't know whether it is wrong or correct, or from my side opinion, 10 rupees, 20 rupees note, madam, because when we ban 10 or 20 rupees note, madam, obviously the change, what you call say, change problem will occur, madam. To solve that problem, madam, they have to shift to the digital, madam. If we keep on saying we should go digital, psychology of people differs, madam. Some people will say, I am good at this level only, I don't want to go to digital, madam. I think we should work on that, madam, to force people, I think. I don't know whether I am saying correctly or wrong, madam. People may disagree to my point, but this is for sure, madam. An entire population of India will not completely go for digital, madam. Some people will still stay at hard level. We will good at this level only. We don't want digital transaction.
We have last 4 minutes left.
Adding to Abdul point, ma'am, it doesn't depends upon the psychology of the people. Why? Because if they are interested, they will automatically will shift towards the digital payments. Why? Because whenever the people are getting benefited through the cashless economy, why don't they get shifted towards the digital payments? So even if they are not willing to go for an digital payments after knowing the benefits or something like that, then the government has to take an initiative in order to make the rules and regulations so that each and every person has to use the digital payments itself. And this is not possibly happening. Why? Because the government is not taking an initiative to bring out the digital payments awareness. Even the illiterates are more when compared to other developed countries or the developing countries. Why? Because even if we create the awareness also, the people is not ready to accept the digital payments or something which is more initiative or the innovative things in India, as there is an illiteracy about the literate rate, then it is not possible to go with an digital payments.
Okay. Anybody else wants to add? We have a couple of 2 more minutes.
Ma'am, it is not about completely about illiteracy, educated or uneducated, madam. Some people have problem that they don't want to change only, they don't want to shift only, madam. For if they are educated also, but still they don't want to. I don't want to change. I am good at this level. I don't want to take this. For them, what, madam?
So that's the reason I'm saying that the government has to take an strict, rigid rules and regulation that if it is possible, then everybody has to use the digital payments itself. I know, but it is not possible. Then it's then if the government or if the government has to decide that the entire economy has to be cashless itself, then they have to make an rigid rules that we each and every person has to go with the cashless transactions itself.
To make that rigid rules only, I suggested one piece of advice to ban that 10 rupees, 20 rupees coin only, notes.
I accept with you, Abdul. I am just saying the scenario, how it may react and how it may be applicable. It is not possible to really apply the things that I am stating, that the rigid rules or regulations. It needs time to bring into an existence.
True. We have 1 more minute. Anybody wants to add?
Yes, ma'am. I agree with what Vishnu just said. That it won't happen overnight. It definitely won't happen overnight because there are a lot of older generation people right now who can't get adapted to technology as easily as the younger generation. Right now, maybe 10 years down the line, again, it can happen. It can definitely happen because middle-aged people right now, they are very well versed with technology. Majority of them, I'm not telling all of them, but majority of them. And again, as I stated before, when it becomes a matter of survival, they won't have much of a choice. They can't choose. They can't be like, okay, I want to use money, so you have to use money. If there is no other choice, then they will have to adapt to the situation that is present.
But madam, my question is how they will create that situation, madam, no other choice? Because the option of hard cash is still available, no, madam?
Yeah, right now it's available, but then that's what I'm telling. Day by day, we're getting there. We're getting to the point where we can become cashless one day. It won't happen overnight. It won't happen tomorrow. It won't happen today. But one day it will happen.
Yeah, adding to Shruti point, down the line, 10 to 15 years, the people will be more educated when compared to our present situation. The literacy will be growing. So that by the down the 10 to 15 years, the cashless transaction may be coming into existence at the rapid growth. Even the majority of the people might use the cashless payments itself. So now at present, the India is not ready for the cashless economy.
After 10-15 years also, majority of them, not entire economy, not
That's
every citizen of India.
That's what I am saying, you Abdul. It's not possible to go for an entire cashless economy. I said up to the majority level. I did not said that completely it would be go for cashless transaction. I said majority of the people would go for cashless economy transactions.
Great. Yeah. I think today that was a healthy discussion. We are up with 15 minutes. Yeah, so I would just like to evaluate this discussion, and yeah, so Abdul, good, you initiated the discussion and you get those brownie points to start. I think you understood very well and you started well. See the word using madam quite often, so it is good to address whoever is there on the panel. But once you address, and then you can probably not repeat the word again. You giving yourself example that when I travel in bus, I cannot do Paytm or Google Pay, and cash is required. So it is always very very good sign. Suppose you cannot give any outwardly example, you should give your own example to prove a point. Coming to Shruti, your rebuttal was good again. So you get points over there. But you spoke less compared to the other participants. So you need to add more points. So there were already some 4-5 pointers which were given uh, in the chat group, which where you could have used each of those points to talk, so that your contribution to the topic is more. Sukruti, we didn't hear you much, so you still having a technical glitch with your phone? Yeah. Vishnu, you made good points, and I appreciate that you are letting other people speak, and then wherever you want to make a point, you are contributing to the topic and you spoke. So I think overall, compared to the first topic, the second topic, your contributions were much better. I think both Abdul and Shruti and Vishnu, all three of you have contributed well. Sukruti, you need to talk more. I think you're having some problem with your phone, right? Yeah, ma'am, can we have the third topic?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the feedback. And so again, to Sukriti, Shruti, Sukriti, of course, we understand you have a issue. Shruti, if you can turn on your video, it would be great. And please unmute yourself while talking. Make sure you do that. And our next topic is, will India be able to double farmers' income in the next 5 years? Will India be able to double farmers' income in the next 5 years? You have the topic and the pointers in the chat for your reference, and your time starts now.
I would like to start off the discussion. Okay, so I would like to tell that it is very, very difficult. It's next to impossible to double the farmers' income in the next 5 years. Because as of now, what we're seeing is there are a lot of going on which are affecting the farmers in a bad way, in a really bad way. And farmers are incurring a lot of loss because of this. And I think this will go on for quite some time because the weather can't change within a year. It has to happen over time. And I don't think it will favor the farmers anytime soon. And secondly, I think all rates are going up. If they want to buy pesticides or if they want to buy their equipment, are going up.
Shruti,
Increase.
Shruti,
Ma'am?
Shruti, your voice is breaking. So can you please just check your network and
Just
Go
a
to a
second.
corner where
yes.
you have more better network.
Okay, ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, it's better. You can speak. So we've missed out a few points that you were telling us earlier. So can you please let us know, repeat them?
Okay, yeah. I was telling that weather conditions right now do not favor the farmers, and it won't happen anytime soon. Like maybe in like half a year or 1 year, the weather won't change enough to favor the farmers to double their income. And if farmers' profit is increasing, I think the rates that they have to pay for their equipment or pesticides or any of the transportation and traveling, I think all of that is increasing proportionately. So I think it is next to impossible to double the farmers' income.
Okay.
I would
Anybody
like
else
to
wants to?
disagree with Shruti. See, if Indian government tries, they can definitely double the farmers' incomes. All the points that Shruti mentioned about the fertilizer rates being high, or the weather conditions not suiting, or the pesticide rates being high, I think the government can provide all of that at minimal rates to help the farmers better than income. uh, the government can come up with a lot of policies, or they can make market changes. They can buy the farmers rate, I mean the farmers products at the at a higher rates, so that the farmers can benefit from that. I think if the government tries, they can definitely double the farmers income.
But according to what you're telling, Sukriti, I think the entire scenario is dependent completely on the government. It's like if the government does this, only then we can do this. If the government does that, only then. I don't think we can depend on the government that much because there's a lot going on with the government as uh, areas that they have to concentrate on. So I don't think the farmers can completely depend on the government for this.
Anybody else wants to make any points?
Adding to both the Shruti and Sukriti points, the government has been taking the initiatives, but at the present they are not being so effective. The governments are offering the loans on the farmers cultivation or the whatever they are needed, but it is not getting up to that extent which the farmers needed. So the government has to take more initiatives, and they have to look that the initiatives that have been taken are successfully reaching the farmers or not. Even the farmers are facing a major issue in selling their I mean the selling their goods or the product, I mean the eatables in the market, so where the middlemen are playing a vital role in acquiring their it I mean the goods or the products, and purchasing it at low cost and selling it in the market at an higher margin. So here we can see that the middlemen are making the money out from the farmers, but they are not paying the extent that they need to get from the side of the farmers. So this has to be considered from the government side, where the government has to purchase the farmers out yielding. I mean the yielding has to be considered from the government side at the cost of the government price, and they have to purchase it and they have to sell it in the market. So this can give rise to the farmers income, give rise to the income levels of the farmers.
Okay.
And
Yes, I agree with Vishnu that we can support the farmers and we can encourage them to an extent, but it will not be possible to completely aid the farmers to double their income in the next 5 years.
I think it will be 5 years, maybe not 5 years, but 5 to 10 years, definitely we can try to double the farmers' incomes. It's not just the government, even we can put our efforts. And the government can come up with a lot of schemes in the next 5 years. It's not just about the markets or the products or the pesticides and fertilizers that they sell. Rainwater harvesting, or like gadgets which will help the farmers do better or produce better.
The government has been working on that for quite some time now, and I don't see any improvement, any major improvement in fact. we're just talking about 5 weeks now. Maybe 10 to 20 years down the line, it might improve. The government might be able to actually help the farmers 5 years down the line. Even that is not good.
Okay. Abdul, you're there? I didn't hear anything on the topic from you.
Yes, madam, I am there, madam. I would like to add the point, madam. While having this discussion only, madam, we are depending upon only on government, madam, to increase the income. While the topic is, will India be able to double the farmers' income? I think only government's initiative will not work, madam. I think people also should try to understand, madam, and farmers should also be understand, madam. One major reason, madam, farmers are, I'm not saying completely, but majority part of population is like illiterate, madam. So I think, madam, in 5 years it is not possible to double their income, madam. But not only with government's initiative, madam, but giving subsidy and all. But I think they should be also educated, like thought that what price to sell, what to fix by themselves only. I think they should be thought, madam. And meanwhile, side by side, government will be also doing its work, madam, like giving subsidy. But I don't think so. Putting every effort on government, that government is not doing that, so supporting will not work, madam.
Yeah, adding to
Okay.
Abdul point. Adding to Abdul point, my concern is the farmers are not allowed to sell in the market. Why? Because there are some of the mandis or the APMC acts which have been placing a very vital role in this selling the products or the goods in the market. So here the farmers does not came into existence directly into the market. So there will be a middle person who will be communicating or who will be transacting with the farmers. So directly the farmers cannot come into market and sell their goods. So there will be some certain rules and regulations from the side of the government. So the government has to take the initiative so that the farmers can come to direct to the market and they can sell their goods or products directly to the consumers. So if this happens, then the growth can be seen in the Indian economy or the Indian farmers' income.
I
Yes,
don't.
I agree with.
I don't agree with.
Yeah, go on.
I don't agree with what Abdul spoke. Like he mentioned that farmers are illiterate these days, but that's not true. Actually, government is taking steps to educate these farmers. They're conducting classes in their own native language to educate the farmers about what kind of seeds to buy or what kind of fertilizers to buy or where to buy it from, and how the government is providing the subsidiary fertilizers and pesticides, and government is trying its best to educate its farmers today. So I don't think it'll be right if we tell that the farmers are illiterate in today's world. And if the government keeps up this education thing, and they educate them about the rainwater harvesting and the applications or the gadgets they can come up with, I think in 5 years they can improve the farmers.
I agree with what Vishnu just said. I think government should implement more policies, rules, and regulations regarding middlemen that are involved. I think that is where most of the money is going. So if farmers can come directly to the market and sell their goods, I think it will be better. Farmers still rely on their natural. What can you call it? Even if education happens, whatever happens, I think farmers still rely on the traditional methods, and if we can make room for them to follow it, I think that will be great.
Madam, first of all, I said, madam, not every farmer is illiterate. I said only a part of farmers are, one part of farmers are illiterate, madam. And second, madam, if even the government is taking initiative, madam, to educate farmers, but are they implementing at the same level, madam? Are they implementing at the same level what the government is teaching? Are they adaptive for everything what government is teaching to them?
Abdul, adding to your point, it doesn't mean that the government has to influence on them in purchasing any of the technological equipments or so. They will be just giving the awareness about the technology. So the farmers has to take the initiatives of making use of the technology that they are explaining. So even the government cannot force to buy them the technology equipments in order to make them aware. So they will be just guiding them to how to use it and how can it be helpful for them in cultivation or in agricultural purpose.
Okay. We have
Yes.
three
So
more minutes.
it totally depends upon the how the farmers will take into the consideration. If they want to cultivate more and if they want to earn more money, they need to go for an technological equipments or the trending technology which gives them the more out yield. So they need to follow the technology like solar energy or as well as the well versed equipments in cultivating the crops or something like that. So if they are going to stick on with the traditional methods itself, then they won't be achieving the more income. So they have to eventually transfer from the traditional to the technological methods in order to make more money.
I think instead of completely shifting to technological methods, if we can help them improve their traditional methods, I think that will be equally beneficial because suppose we help them install solar panels and stuff like that, something that doesn't completely shift from their traditional methods. I think that will be more helpful because they know the pros and cons of actually what's happening and how to work and what will happen if what step they take. So it doesn't really, I don't think we totally have to shift to technological methods for farmers to increase their income. I think if we help them improve their traditional methods, that will be beneficial.
Yeah, as I remember one more point, as Abdul has quoted at the beginning of this discussion, that even the people has to be contributing towards farmers to increase their income. So I have seen majority of the many of the organizations are coming into existence where the goods has been purchased directly from the farmers and they are sold into the market and the same price has been offered to the farmers. For example, I have seen an organization called as Ninja Cut where the farmers where the organization will be buying the goods from the farmers itself directly and they will be selling the same goods in the market and they will be paying the same amount of what the goods has been sold at the price in the market. The price is being offered to the farmers. So these kind of organizations might be helping in improving the income of the farmers.
I completely agree with what Vishnu said. Especially during this Corona times, we could see a lot of organizations directly buying from the farmers and selling it. And I think this will increase as the day goes. So, like, maybe tomorrow there'll be more organizations buying from the farmers. So the role of the middleman will be completely removed. And as agriculture is the biggest sector of revenue in India, I think the government will also make its improvement its primary concern. So I think in 5 years, yeah, we can achieve what we want.
You have last 10 seconds left if anybody wants to add something.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that we can actually reach that. I mean, we can double the income of an farmers within the 5 years if the government takes an very much initiative in order to reach whether the policies or the rules and regulations that they have framed is delivering to the farmers or not. If this is not possible, then we cannot see that the growth of an farmers becoming double in within next 5 years. It may take a long time to see the double of an income of an farmers. So if the government takes an initiative in a proper manner, then it would be possible.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for the discussion. It was a great discussion this time. Chitna ma'am, can we please have your feedback on this?
Yeah. So, Shruti, that was a good start. I think you get brownie points there to initiate the discussion. And this time everybody contributed and spoke uh, well on the topic. Um, you haven't covered all the topics, so I was just reading the snapshots, and I saw that the use of solar energy or solar light and increase milk and honey production. So those are the pointers given, and you haven't used them. So in case when you're talking and you need more support points to talk, you should refer your document so that you get leading points to talk and discuss. Shruti, you gave a good example of rainwater harvesting and what all you can do. So wherever you feel that you're aware of some where you've read or you're aware of technology, you should mention those so that the panel would feel that uh, uh, you know about the topic and you're well read. And whenever if when somebody says that it's a final 1 minute or 30 seconds, so you should grab the opportunity to say, okay, now I summarize the group discussion, and I feel that most of us on this panel feel that this. So there will be either a pro or it will be a con. So you will be either talking for the topic or you'll be talking against. So you yourself have to make a judgment on that the whole discussion has gone towards the for. So you summarize. So even if you are against, but the discussion has gone towards for, so then while summarizing, then you should talk, say that most of us feel that this is for. So use that last 1 minute to summarize. Yeah, that's what I have to say. Everybody else has contributed well, so nothing much to add.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the feedback, and I'm sure they will all take it up for the next topic. So before moving on to our next topic, we have a few poll questions for the students, for the participants here. So take a few minutes and fill up the questions, please. Is everybody able to access the poll questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. If you can quickly fill it out, we can move on to our next topic. Right. Thank you. So we move to our next topic, that is how beneficial is merger of public sector banks. How beneficial is merger of public sector banks? And we have the topic and the points in the chat for you. And your time starts now. You can unmute yourself and start the discussion.
I would like to say that a merger of public sector banks is not a good idea because, as in the points given, it will lead to a lot of unemployment. And I think different banks do have their own policies that they follow, even if they are public sector banks. I think there are different banks which are giving education loans. I think if suppose bank manager of A bank does not is not convinced to sanction a loan for me, maybe the bank manager of B bank will be convinced. Maybe he will think that I am eligible for for an education loan. So I think there are more opportunities for customers as well. Okay, more than customers, I would call as the public. I think there are more opportunities for public when public sector banks are not merged. Uh, yeah, please.
You've gone on mute.
Yes, ma'am, I finished my point.
Okay.
Um, Anybody else?
Yeah, according to me, we cannot say that it is beneficial or non-beneficial. Why? Because it depends upon the I mean to say whether how the banks are being integrated in smooth functioning of the banks or the transactions. So if you look at the some of the banks are gone into the bankruptcy, and due to that the commercial banks or the private banks are coming into the merger situation. So this can lead to the some of these some sort of relaxations where the government can acquire the loans or the bankruptcies in order to fulfill their bankruptcies. And so like that there is some benefit, but we cannot completely accept that there are fully beneficial up to an extent.
Beneficial for banks that are not doing well, but I think it will, to an extent, decrease the efficiency of banks that are actually doing well.
Okay.
I
What do you
agree
say,
with
Ritu?
what Shruti said. I think when like two banks merged, like when it became when India merged all its public banks into four major banks, I think the decision making and the decision making now takes a lot more time than it used to take before. As Shruti said, there were this caused a lot of problems for the workers, as many were laid off. So it I don't agree with it being beneficial in that way.
Ma'am, I would like to say that if it's such thing is happening, merger acquisition, then it will happen for something good for profit itself only, not for loss. No, madam. It will happen for profit itself only. No, profit in the sense for good thing, good reasons only.
Yeah, but give your points to.
It might be good for the bank, but I don't think it's good for public.
In
I
what
didn't
way,
think
madam?
so.
Can you give an example?
Because as you just said, they'll do it only if it helps them. Uh, so yeah, if they merge 10 banks into 4 banks, I think that will be beneficial for the banks because they'll have to pay lesser salaries to their workers and stuff like that. But from public point of view, it will increase unemployment, and it will be more difficult for us to get our work done. Maybe it was easier in one of the banks that was present before, and now it's very difficult for us to get our work done. It will delay any procedure that will happen, as Sukriti stated, because decisions will take more time. So I think the public is not benefited from this, but yeah, as you told, if they are taking a step towards this, it's going to benefit the banks.
Okay. Who else? Who's not spoken?
Actually
We
the
still
main
have
concern of
five
getting
to
the
seven
merger.
minutes.
Yeah, actually, the main concern of doing the merger of public sector banks is to increase the liquidity of the cash and to decrease the moratorium period, or the amount spent on the loans has to be decreased. So, in order to do this, the nowadays the banks which has been merged, they are going for the collateral witness in order to provide the loans. So, this has come into existence when after the mergers has been taking place. So yeah, whenever the customer or the customer wants to get a loan in at the current situation, they needs to submit their collateral documents or something like that in order to get a loan. But in the case in the past, there was no such things. We need to submit a collateral for the compulsion. So after going for the mergers, new regulations and rules has been coming into existence to in order to control the liquidity of the money and to avoid the bankruptcies. So from up to my point of view, it is somewhere beneficial for the public as well as the banks also, where we can have and control on the liquidity of the cash.
Okay.
But I think merging
Anyone
banks.
else?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I think merging banks is not the only solution for that. I think they could have come up with something else, but not merging of the banks, because this is not going to be as efficient as aiding the banks separately.
Why do you say so?
Ma'am, I'm not exactly. I'm not. I don't know the particulars of what he just said. Collateral after the merging of banks and all that. But I think if the whole point of merging banks was to avoid bankruptcy of smaller banks or banks that were not doing well, I think this is not the solution. This will, as I stated, the disadvantages before. There are a lot more disadvantages than advantages. Taking the whole scenario into picture, not just considering the banks that were about to go bankrupt.
Yeah, that's what I mean to say, that whenever the cash
Okay.
liquidity of the cash were being into the control, then the bankruptcies can be avoided. No, the liquidity of the cash has been increased without any collateral within the bank from the on side of the bank. Then eventually the consumer or the customer who has taken the loan can skip away without any collateral that he has been submitted. He can escape, like the way Vijay has been escaped from the bankruptcies. So he can, even the consumer who is not submitting the collateral can get away or they skip the bank loan. So in order to control that, or in order to avoid the bankruptcy itself, the banks are being coming into existence with the mergers.
I think then the banks could just, they didn't have to merge with the banks that are doing well. I think they could have just come up with new regulations and new policies that will actually demand a collateral if you need a loan. Do just merging banks for this one reason causes a lot more disadvantages than advantages.
Yeah, you might be true, but what happens if they want to pass in rules and policies to every bank, then it might be difficult to monitor every bank has been following the monetary policies or the physical policies. In order to go through that, in order to make it easy, the government has made the mergers.
But I think 10 banks, monitoring 10 banks is not a big deal for the government. If they're finding it difficult to monitor the 10 banks, I think they have to become more efficient. They have to get a committee that is more efficient in managing the banks. If the banks excuse for merging the banks is because we can't take care, we can't handle so many things, we can't make sure they're handling the resolution, handling the regulations and policies properly. I think that just tells how inefficient the government is.
We haven't heard many points from Smriti from.
Ma'am, she's actually she had connectivity problems. She had to quit, and she's waiting to be let into the meeting.
Okay. Can you please
Yes,
explain?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Right. We have Sukriti on board now.
Sukriti, can you hear us?
Sukriti.
Yeah, I think I missed out on most of the.
No problem, but the topic is there on the chat group. Do you want to talk on it?
Sukriti, you can add your points and we can have the discussion from there. So you have last 3 minutes left.
So Sukriti, I'll just tell you what the topic is. How beneficial is merger of public sector banks?
Ma'am, I
I
think
think it's a good
she's,
decision.
ma'am, she seems to be having the technical issues, ma'am.
Yeah, so others can continue. I think we have
Yes.
one or two more minutes.
So, till Sukriti gets her connection fixed, would anybody else want to add anything else?
I think we've covered all the points that we had to tell, ma'am.
Okay.
So yeah, at the end of the discussion, according to me, I think merger of the banks was a bad idea. It is a bad idea because it has a lot more disadvantages, as I stated, like unemployment and difficulty in decision making. It has a lot more disadvantages more than advantages.
Anybody else would want to add something?
Yeah, I think we can end it here
Yes,
since they
ma'am.
have kind of.
Right. So they still have 2 more minutes left, ma'am, but we can end your feedback.
Yeah, so Shruti, good start. I think you get the brownie points there to start the discussion and take the initiative. Vishnu, are you there? Can you listen to me?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm here.
Yeah, so Vishnu, your why because has come down drastically. If you have used it 20 times in your first discussion, you'd have used it maybe 10 times in a second discussion and just 2 or 3 times in a third discussion. So I think you've understood and you're trying consciously to curtail it, but you have to bring it down to zero.
Sure, ma'am.
One thing I want to make a point that do not make any wrong comment. For example, you have said that earlier no collaterals were required and now collaterals are required, so which is not the fact. So earlier also collaterals were required and even now collaterals are required. So there would be some people who are very well read on banking industry and who will not buy your logic, and you might lose a lot of points for stating wrong facts. So if you do not know the facts, don't talk about it, but don't make a comment on don't make a wrong comment. Third thing, I think Shruti, good, you observed my suggestion and you've tried summarizing the whole thing and took that initiative to summarize. So very good. I mean, I just made a mention, I commented on it and you immediately absorbed it and implemented it. I think that is the whole idea of running this session, that you pick up our points, what we specify, and then you implement it in your discussions. Yeah, Abdul, I have not made any major comments. So overall, a good discussion.
Thank you, ma'am. So we move on to our next topic, that is give views on the present system of education in our country. The topic is give views on the present system of education in our country. You have the topic and the pointers in the chat, and your time starts now.
I think, madam, in present system of education, madam, students as well as faculties, madam, are concerned about more about marks, madam, rather than education itself. How much will score? Who will score how much, madam? At not at upper level, I think lower level, like high schools, schools, madam. They are concerned about marks, madam, rather than actual education. And it is also, madam, perception that people judge students like how much they have scored. On this basis, they will judge the student whether he is brilliant or not, madam.
Okay. Anybody else wants to add?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, I wanted to add the points to the last 2 points, which is current system is completely blended with theory only, no practical knowledge, as well as the education is becoming outdated for current job needs. Yeah, actually, the statements are quoted that it's really true, ma'am. Nowadays the practical knowledge has been totally missing. There all the students are being confined within the four walls, and they have been influenced by the all the theoretical knowledge itself, instead of giving the practical knowledge or giving the field works in order to how to apply the concepts in their real life. They are just sticking on to the theoretical knowledge, and they are influencing the students to imbibe just the theoretical knowledge instead of imbibing the theoretical knowledge. The faculty or the any of the guides can imbibe the practical knowledge into the students, so that they can apply them into their real life situations, and they where they can be getting successful in their wherever whichever domain they get into. And one more thing is the knowledge is being outdated for current new job needs. Yeah, actually whenever we get into the jobs, we never apply the concept that we have learned in most of the concepts we never apply in the domain of the job that we get into. We need to learn external skills like coding or something. The external skills has to be learned in order to fit into that job. But when it compared to the education that it has been provided in the colleges or the PG level, it does not get applied in the real life situations or the domain which we get into. So in order to avoid this, the colleges or the institutions have to teach the students that will be applied into the real life situations or in the jobs. So this is my concern, where the institutions has to give the practical knowledge instead of the theoretical knowledge to the students.
Okay.
I just
Madam, it's a fact, madam, that we are lacking of practical knowledge, madam. But Vishnu said one point, madam, that present system is outdated, madam. Because don't completely agree with that, madam. Even though all the concepts cannot be applied in real life, but we can't say it is useless only, no, madam. Because he is telling like we cannot apply the concepts, madam. But I want a little bit clarity on that. It is up to us to acquire external skills like coding, madam. It is up to us.
I totally agree with Abdul. I think the syllabus we have now might be outdated to one extent, but we can't tell that it is useless to us, because even if we need to learn any new skills that are required for the industry, we do need the basics that are theory. And it's not like our education system has completely forbidden us from having any other knowledge. If I have theoretical knowledge in college, then I do have opportunities for practical knowledge elsewhere by doing projects and internships, which are actually encouraged by our colleges.
Mhm.
So I think I
Actually
wouldn't,
adding to
yeah, I
continue,
wouldn't condemn the present education system, but I think it can improve in certain areas, but I wouldn't tell that it is useless as of now.
No, actually, adding to Abdul as well as Shruti point, I didn't mention that all the concepts are not being related to the job. I just said that many major of the concepts are not being applied in the real job lives. Where
Mhm.
I would like to say
Major
is
of the concepts.
major of the concept. Yeah, really. Yeah,
Like give
why?
one
Because
example out of that
I will
major
give it.
concepts.
Yeah. I will give an example. Why? Because whenever we are getting into for example, I will take my stream of education itself. When I am getting educated in MBA in a marketing specialization, whenever I get into an interview, so they might offer some of the domains which are related to the finance as well as the HR. So there we are not supposed to apply the marketing specialization concepts in other domains. So we, in order to match that job, we need to acquire knowledge from the external sources of which is related to the finance or as well as the HR. So in this at the current scenario, the jobs, even the domain of the jobs is not particular with the specializations. They're getting interrelated or interchanged between the domains of the education also. So this is where I want to conclude that all the major of the concepts are not been applicable in the real life.
But I think it is up to us to acquire additional skills, like you said. In marketing stream, they will teach you about marketing itself. But I think if you want some finance concept to be acquired, then you should go for additional skills only. I don't think so marketing will help you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Abdul. Whenever you get into an other domain of job domain, you need to get the external skills, no? So you cannot stick on to the marketing skills or the concepts which I will be applying to the HR domain or the finance domain. You need to acquire, it's a must that you need to acquire an external skills which we need to fit into the job.
Talking about what Vishnu just stated, I think there are a lot of opportunities in the marketing field as well. So I think if you want to get into finance, you should study finance, which will be a part of your curriculum. And if you want to get into marketing, you have to study marketing. If that is not an option, and you're studying marketing and getting into finance, I think your marketing skills or your marketing knowledge that you have to know will come in handy at any point of life, at any point of time in your life, because any extra knowledge that you have definitely will go waste, especially skills like marketing. They will definitely come in handy at one point.
Yeah, it might come into handy, but it doesn't happen soon after the completion of our education, right? Whenever we get into other domains, it will be might not be useful for some up to some extent.
But we
So
don't
the
study.
institutions, so
Yeah,
the
but
institutions has to guide the students in with respect to all the domains or the with respect to all the sections of the education.
But whatever we're studying now, it's not just for 1 year after the completion of our graduation, right? And what is the whole point of specialization courses if we are studying everything that is there? We take that is what we've studied till second PU. We've studied biology, we've studied electronics. There are different options for us to move forward. And if we've chosen a specialization after finishing our second PU, I think that is because we want to pursue it, we want to pursue the stream, and we want to go ahead in that stream.
Yeah, actually, okay, that's fine. When confined to this present scenario, will you go for if you are not getting an job opportunity which is related to your domain, will you shift to other domain that you have an opportunity to get in or not? This
Yes,
is my
yes,
question. Yeah,
that
so
is definitely there.
this
That
is
is a
the
that is a question of survival for you, and I think then you need to acquire extra knowledge. But
yeah. So this is where I'm very much concerned. So the institutions or the wherever the faculties has to guide the people or the influence the students in order to educate with the respect to all the sections or the with all the concepts of the which will be helpful in getting to the jobs. So
no,
this is my concern.
that is where your extra education comes into picture. If you want a plan B or a plan C, then I think I have friends, I know people who take up one course and do not concentrate on absolutely anything else, because they think that concentrating on something else will make them lose their concentration, and they want, even if they don't get a job immediately after completion of their course, they still pursue the same specialization, because they believe that increasing their skill in one sector is better than getting a little skill in all other sectors. So I think college is specialized in one sector, and if you want a plan B or plan C, then that is where your extra education comes into picture. That is your personal plan, and I don't think college should be able to contribute to that.
And college also have many students for whom they will they will look into this matters like uh, additional skills. It is up to us, it is up to our maturity to understand what we need and what is suitable to us. College will not go for such a minute thing.
Yes, I totally agree with Abdul. There might be different people who want to pursue different streams just because their specialization won't come in handy uh, just after their education. The college can't uh, make us specialized in every course that is there. And in that case, if you want to tell that there are no immediate job opportunities, I think you can get a specialization, a further specialization in any other uh, in any other course that is there in your masters maybe, and that will improve your opportunities further, because any stream that you take does not have zero opportunities.
Okay. Anybody else?
Any point on need to change in the education system? Is there a need?
Yeah, there are always sectors where you can improve. Even if you're the best, you can still improve. That is my opinion. So even if all the theory that is being taught to us will come handy at some point in our future, there can always be upgradation in our syllabus. There can be methods that we can keep uh, upgrading on. They can keep changing the system, because the world keeps changing and we can't keep studying the same syllabus again and again. So they can keep upgrading the system, but the present system is definitely not useless, but it can improve. Outside India, if I would like to tell, they not all of them, but majority of them do concentrate a lot on practical experience as well. So in our colleges, there is a lot of opportunities for us to get practical experience, but that's not a part of our curriculum. I think I think if they encourage the whole point of not studying for exams and studying to increase your knowledge, I think that will be more helpful. I think that is the sector where our education system needs to change.
Okay.
The Indian system of education is such that we are made to work for others. Like this is where practical exposure comes into picture. We don't want to be independent. We want to work in somebody else's job. We are looking for a job rather than. But this was a old concept. Now people are looking for entrepreneurship and kind of shit. But the education system is such that they are building us to work for others. Not, but I want to say not completely, but still at a lower level, high school, primary level, they are making us to work for others, not independent.
I would not agree with Abdul on this point, because I think from lower levels itself, from nursery itself, they have been inculcating values like leadership, creativity, imagination, and etc. In schools and in colleges as well. And even now, we have a whole concept, we have a whole subject called management and entrepreneurship. And the whole point of the subject is to encourage us to become entrepreneurs in the future. So I do not agree on this point.
Yeah, it depends upon the personal interest of a student, whether he wanted to be under a job or he really wants to become an entrepreneurship. So it all depends upon the personal interest of a student.
And I think there needs to be more inculcation of extracurricular activities like sports and HR sessions and stuff like that. Like Vishnu stated, if he's studying marketing, and I think skills like marketing and soft skills need to be inculcated, not just as a part of our placement training, but from the beginning as well. Not uh, not just for our placements, but for the rest of our life as well, because that is definitely going to come handy at any point.
Okay.
If there are sectors where they can improve education, I think they can inculcate more technology into picture, because that will make learning more interesting to us as well, instead of just writing on the board and then dictating and stuff. I think they can also find new ways to teach whatever they have to teach. I think this way it will also be more helpful to us. Yeah, and I think it will be more interesting as well.
The time's up. So, ma'am, can we please have your feedback? It was a great discussion, guys. Let's hear what Chetna ma'am has to say. Okay, till Chetna ma'am is back, we have a feedback form of you here for today's discussion. I posted it on the chat. Can you all take a few minutes till ma'am's back and fill in the feedback form?
Yeah, sorry, I just got to pick up a glass of water. So is somebody summarizing?
Ma'am, they've actually
Already
finished. They're
summarized.
just,
Okay.
yes, so they're just filling up a feedback form. Ma'am, it's your feedback.
Do I have to also fill? No, no.
Ma'am, can you please share your feedback with us?
Okay. Yeah, so I think this was better than the earlier one. So with every group discussion, we are inching to a better discussion. My points are Abdul has reduced the use of madam, but I could still hear a word madam. So Abdul, the next discussion you have to zero it down. Vishnu, good. You gave an example. I think it is very, very apt and very important to share your own experience and your own example. So I will just give you a generalized statement on how a group discussion is rated or valued. A, it is the knowledge of the subject. Second thing is your communication skills. Third is your body language and appearance. So in this case, now we don't have many videos, but otherwise, if you're in front of the panel, if you're sitting in a roundtable conference, what you wear, your eye contact, your body language, more assertive, more positive. Okay, and most important, last but not the least, is your leadership skills. So a leadership skill is seen if you're grabbing an opportunity to talk. It could be to start, it could be to summarize, it could be for a rebuttal. If somebody is making a point and you don't, if you feel that you are opposing it, you have to rebut it, you have to make a rebuttal, and it has to be immediate. It can't be like somebody said, then you pause and then you make a rebuttal. It cannot be like that. You make a point, if you're opposing it, you should immediately rebut the point. So these are few of the things which you should keep in mind when you're going in for a group discussion. And most important thing is agree to disagree. So one of the points where Vishnu made and others are not agreeing, and you see that a lot of participants are not agreeing to your point. So then you have to agree to disagree. You have to let go with the flow. You can't keep sticking to your point and others are continuously opposing it. So agree to disagree. All right. Make sense?
Ma'am, can you give us an overall feedback as well of the session? And
yeah, so overall, very good, very nicely organized rare minds, and I really appreciate the contribution you're making to the society. I think today's youth definitely need this, and especially for your first job, The interview process is always a GD and a PI, group discussion and personal interview. So it is very, very important for you to understand what are the techniques or the norms for you to, on what you would get rated for a group discussion. I urge many more youth to come on this platform and learn how to do group discussions, since you're giving good topics to talk, and there are mentors coming to your panel who are coming and giving you suggestions to your children, to your kids, to today's youth. I think good initiative. Children, you should take more and more opportunity like this to come and discuss and talk and spread the word in your community, in your friend circle, on your WhatsApp groups, so that many more students can get benefited.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. So the group discussion session continues every day. It happens from 3 p.m. To 5 p.m. and you can join in for all the days. Also, you can join in for all the days for more tips and tricks how to crack the GD, just like how ma'am just now told. And you can also visit our YouTube channel. I've shared the link in the chat for everybody to view. You can view today's session there and the following as well. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe our channel. The YouTube channel has been shared. I request Narsimhan sir to please share word of thanks.
Thank you, Gauri. First of all, I would like to say thanks to Dr. Subhashini from Remits for arranging this beautiful platform for the students to enhance their skills and learn a bit about group discussion. And also, Mrs. Chintana for accepting your request to mentoring this session for the benefit of the students. It was very good, madam. Your suggestions are well noted by the students.
Thank you.
And also my colleague Gauri, and also all the students for actively participating. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Narasimhan, for having me here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being with us, and have a great evening to everybody.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the session. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you.